Hello guys, this is the second installment of our Elements of Style, Elementary Rules of Usage. So the rule here is in a series of 3 or more terms with a single conjunction, use a comma after each term except the last. So the first rule had to do with the apostrophe and when to use it. This rule has to do with a comma and when to use it in a list. Okay, so let's look closely at this. 3 or more terms with a single conjunction. Okay, so whenever you're listing something, whether it be nouns or actions like verbs, adjectives, whatever it is, okay, a conjunction usually going to be for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. Okay, whenever you have that, you use a comma after each term except the last. Now, this is actually debatable. This is a rule that some people will tell you you can not use a comma. Some people will tell you you can for the last. Before the last term. Okay, so this one is telling us that if you have 3 terms, you should use 2 commas. Others might argue that if you have 3 terms, you only use 1 comma. Okay, in fact, the name for that extra comma, okay, is often called the serial comma, or it's also called the Oxford comma. Okay, now ironically enough, the Oxford comma you would think is the way, if it's named Oxford, that the British would actually be the ones who employ the Oxford comma, but traditionally it's the other way around, okay? In the US, traditionally if you have a list of 3 terms, you have 2 commas. Or if you have a list of 4 terms, you have 3 commas. 5, 4, right? You get the idea. But traditionally in British grammar, if you have 3 items, you only need 1 comma. Or 4 items, you only need 2, right? So a good way to kind of remember this, or a rule to think of, okay, and you can use either way, all right, but for the American style, okay, we'll say America's flag is, now we're going to do a list, right? What colors is it? Red, comma, white, comma, and blue. Okay? So notice I have 3 terms there, 3 terms in that list, right? Red, white, and blue. How many commas do you see? 1, 2. Okay? And on the other hand, you can do it the British way, okay? Or you could say Britain's flag, okay, is also, right, red, white, and blue. Okay? But because it is the British way, they don't use the Oxford comma, so I would need to erase that, right? And you have a list of 3 terms still, 3 adjectives in this case, and you only have 1 comma. Okay? Either way is alright. Okay, according to this rule, the right way is this way, which of course it's written by American authors, so that makes sense. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, either way is alright, but I do need you to know the difference between the 2, okay, and the name of this extra comma, sometimes called serial comma, sometimes called the Oxford comma. Okay, so the rule again, in a series of 3 or more terms with a single conjunction, use a comma after each term except the last.